All right, guys, we are back. We talked a little bit in the last video about a customer avatar. Actually, that's all we talked about. And that would lead us to, in answering the question, how do you turn a site visitor into a lead? We felt we had to get out of the way the customer avatar, and we did that. So that ties into what you actually need to turn that visitor into a lead, which is the funnel. A sales funnel in online digital marketing is crucial. And I would say not even to build a piece of content, to put a social media post out there, to send an email, to do any kind of digital marketing without it being, in some place in a funnel. And if you're not familiar with what a funnel is, think of an upside down triangle, where the top is very open, and then as it goes down, it kind of just narrows in. And to explain it the best, the top of the funnel being so open is where all your acquisition of visitors and potential clients is going to come from. And the ways that we had talked about how to get people in the door and how to get people to that top of funnel and make them aware of your business is one, valuable content, whether that be blog posts, emails that you send out. The other thing we've talked about, social media posts. So social media posts are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever. And the last thing we talked about was, what was the last thing we talked about?
Creating video content and popping it up on YouTube.
Creating video content on YouTube. Basically paid ads as well. That's the last thing we were going to talk about. So any of that stuff that basically gets your awareness of your business out there is going to be considered top of the funnel. So this is going to be for brand awareness, to start a conversation with potential site visitors, to get them into your site and get them familiar with you, and tell right off the bat, kind of separate if someone's interested in what you're selling or not. And that's going to help you to turn them into a lead, as you already know that, say out of 5,000 people that come into your website from that top of the funnel, you're going to separate them right then and there and find out if they're ready to go and move on a value journey with you, or if they're not interested at all. But that opening up of a dialogue is crucial at that point in the top of the funnel. So if you want to bring up that screen grab.
Sure, yeah, we'll grab that.
It's easier to visually see it.
There we go.
People will kind of know what we're talking about. So we're starting down in the bottom left here. And this is just about a customer value journey. And again, to answer that question that was on Facebook, well, how do you turn the site visitor into a lead? We're going to focus just on these bottom three on the bottom row there, because that's going to basically comprise the very top of the funnel and then bring you down until where it narrows out a little bit down into the middle of the funnel. And we were saying that I think the middle of the funnel, once you have got to that point, you can consider that person, that visitor, a lead. But there's steps before that you have to get right before they get down to the middle and become.
Yeah, essentially, what Nick mentioned was, the most important stuff at the beginning, filtering out your audience, making sure that you're speaking to your dream client, your exact client that you want to serve, and most importantly, speaking to the client that you think that you can achieve the best results for. You don't want to take on anyone and everyone that's willing to give you money and to pass cash your way, because you have to ensure that you're taking the customers on that you can absolutely crush it for. The ones that will be so happy with your products and services, they'll tell everybody they know, they'll do advertising for you. So that's like way later on stuff at the very bottom of the funnel. That's kind of touching on some of those concepts. But right out of the gate, you have to make sure that you're marketing towards the right customer and that you're not going after ones that you can't really do a good job for. So focusing on having the customer avatar and a very, very specific UVP and a very specific statement of value that you can pass out to the customers is super important. And yeah, creating the awareness with the blog posts, with the videos, with, Facebook pay-per-click ads on, impression campaigns where you just want to get your ad out to as many people as possible, just so that they get used to seeing your brand. If you, equate it from something with digital marketing and move it over to something like offline, like radio advertising. If you run a radio advertising campaign and run your ads for a week or so, do you think you'd get any traction or any business from those ads? It wouldn't stick. And that's why companies that run radio, they typically run ads like on a 12-month campaign where you hear them over and over and over again so that they're continuously getting pounded and driven into your brain so that you'll remember them even subconsciously just because you've heard them so much. You kind of want to take the same approach when you're building awareness for your brand. You want to get your content out there, get videos out on YouTube, take those videos, embed them into your website so that you're getting traffic both from YouTube's search engine and you're getting traffic from Google as they're indexing your page content and crawling your website. You want to focus on as many different channels and as many search engines as possible in the beginning. Kind of gauge your metrics, look at the stats, figure out which of these channels have the highest level of engagement, which ones are kind of pushing you forward the most and accomplishing your business goals, and then focus on those channels exclusively. Don't spread your efforts too thin. Once you've got your channels picked out and your market segregated, you know where you're getting the most engagement, drop the other ones that aren't doing anything for you so that you can focus on, delivering your content on the platform that works the best. So that's key to the awareness stage. And once you bring people to your website, you really want to up the engagement with people. That's kind of the next logical step in the relationship, is you want them commenting on your videos on YouTube. You want them giving, likes. You want them interacting with you and getting that conversation going, not only from a business standpoint as it builds good rapport with the customer and good feedback going back and forth, but also from a technical standpoint, because YouTube and Google specifically have rolled out new algorithms called Pagerank. And it's this new system that they're doing to optimize and grade websites and essentially rank them on their search engines. And they're taking page dwell time. So the amount of time somebody actually spends on your website and the amount of click-throughs that your listings get off of the search engines, those are really, really high ranking signals to Google as to whether or not your content should be bumped up in the search rankings or down. So all things being equal and all things being considered, if we have two identical pieces of content from two different companies and they're on, say, number 2 and 3 spots on the first page of Google, if company A gets 10 clicks through for their article and company B only gets 7 clicks, company A will stay on top because it's getting a higher click-through rate, it's getting more engagement. But also YouTube and Google are also looking at how long people are staying on your content when they actually click through. So if they click through to your website or they click through to your YouTube video, all those metrics are tracked. They're seeing which people are staying on which content the longest. The ones that get the longest dwell time and the lowest bounce rate are going to be up high. They're the ones that are going to be getting ranked more and more. So you want to make sure that you're putting out your best effort, your best message to exactly who you're trying to reach, and you're putting out the best level of content that you can so that you can up that engagement and keep them on your page and on your content. So once you get them there and you have them in this engagement stage, the next logical step is to bump them up to a subscription stage. And Nick will talk about converting them over into that stage next.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. And like you said, your content that you're putting out there, you want to use what we talked about first in your customer avatar. Before you even start, like I said before, every piece of content that you put out there, regardless of what it is, should fall into this funnel. And the main goal of this funnel is to get an email address. That's the next thing we're going to talk about. Your subscribe is when your customer becomes a visitor and to a lead, is once you get their email sign up. But before that, like I said, all that stuff that you're putting out there, your customer avatar is going to dictate all of that. So if you've done your research and you've taken the time to get to know the ins and outs of 4 or 5 different customer avatars, every piece of content that you're creating should not only be thought of as a piece in a puzzle of this funnel, it's also got to be something that's going to completely jive with your avatars. So think of that as you're creating this content. It's both got to work in an end goal, and it's got to work in fit the customer avatar as well. But like Mark said, once you hit that point of being out of the top of the funnel, you're engaged. You're hit the middle of the funnel. The middle of the funnel is where you want to be as far as getting their email address. And the best way to do that is to offer a high value, low cost tripwires, they would call it. And it's basically a way to give that customer, besides the value you gave them in the first beginning when you met them, now you're giving them the next step. Your main goal in this is to get an email and to get them to become a customer. So by creating a tripwire or a lead magnet, that's going to be what's going to get you their email. That's going to get them on your side, and that's going to kind of solidify the relationship you started with that advertising campaign in the beginning, whether it's social media, email, whatnot. So now that you kind of warmed them up, you're going to go ahead and throw out a lead magnet there, and that's going to be something, like I said, that's high value, and it could be low cost to them and to you. It doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to give away the cow here. You're just going to give them something that is going to basically either splinter off one of your main products or something that you can come up with that's going to lead them in. That's not going to, like I said, not going to cost you much time or effort, and to them, they're going to feel like they're getting a ton out of it, and they're going to trust you enough to trade their email and their privacy for that item. And then once you have them with their email, that's the end goal. Getting a customer is the real end goal, but right now in your marketing, that email is everything. Email. Get them on that list, and Mark will speak to why you want them on that list. But that's what all this is for, basically. So as you start this path down the funnel, the email is the biggest thing, and then once you get down past the email, then you're talking bottom of the funnel, which we'll hit in another video. But these two right here, once you get from site visitor down the top and then to the middle of the funnel, once you hit the middle of the funnel, you have a lead. So go ahead and Mark, and you can talk about how, why having an email is still, one of the most important things that you can do.
So getting people onto your email list and getting them to subscribe to your newsletter is of paramount importance, because if you got people on your list and you're growing your own list, that's traffic that you control. That's that customer base and relationship that you have direct control of, and it doesn't cost you any money to advertise to that group of people. So if I'm running ads on Facebook and I'm paying $200 or $300 a month, and I'm funneling people into my website onto a landing page and trying to get their email addresses, I want to grab as many of those people as possible so that I can start pumping them onto my email list, sending them value, emailing them out content every month, every week even, teaching them different things, interacting with them, asking them, what they need help for. Very, very similar to how we're doing here in this group. And so having your list it's essential, because you don't have to pay to advertise or reach those people. Again, they're kind of built within your own community. That's a good way to look at it. Is your email marketing list is essentially your own community of followers and people that are interested in your services, and people that support you, people that you've helped, people that you can get good results for. Those are the kind of people that you want on your mailing list. And you want to continuously provide them value, so you're not always having to go out and spend money on ads. The great thing about ads, and a reason why certain people in the industry have called it cocaine for marketers, is because you can spend some money and run an ad, and it's like turning on the water hose. As soon as you spend the money and run the ad, the hose starts running, the water comes. Now you've got all this traffic coming to your website. Well, what happens when you stop spending the money and you shut that hose off? The traffic disappears. So it's essentially like you're constantly paying to get that audience, and paying to get people to come to your site. If you're capturing them and converting them over onto your email list, now you're marketing to them for free. It's not this ongoing chase of having to spend money continuously to get your audience. The statistics have shown too that, like, for every person that you get on your mailing list, for every one person you have, it equates to about $1 a month of recurring revenue. So just imagine how much cash that would be, having 5,000 people on your mailing list. That's $5,000 a month that you could recur in revenue just by marketing and engaging with those people on your list. It's super important.
Yeah, I was going to say, like your hose analogy too. It's like having that ad running on Facebook that you're constantly putting money in per day on it, and you're basically just spraying the hose into your yard. You know what I mean? But if you have an email list, you're kind of shifting that hose over into a pool. And now as you're going, that pool is just filling up. Once those ads are done running, now you got a pool that you can dive into. Like it's your own, and it's not going anywhere. All you got to do is just kind of treat it and maintain it to keep it swimmable. But it's like I said, running ads are great. They're going to fill your pool. But if you don't do anything with it, you're wasting it away. But yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it.
For sure. It's like they don't have the same sustainability as building up an email marketing list or implementing solid SEO campaigns on your website, so that you're consistently getting that organic traffic and you're getting people to your website without having to pay a ton of money for ads that obviously disappear as soon as the money stops being spent. If you invest on having a quality email list, having a solid SEO framework on your website, and consistent quality content and a marketing plan. That stuff, that framework that you build will stay consistent throughout the life of your business. You don't have to continuously keep throwing money at it and keep spending like you would with an ad, because that hose will run forever. It won't just shut off as soon as you stop throwing cash at it.
All right, so let's recap. I like to do recaps. So we'll start at the beginning. So you need a funnel, and everything you do to turn a site visitor into a lead should be done in a funnel. But before you do your funnel, you have to have a customer avatar. You have to have done your research on who exactly you're targeting and what do you think is gonna work best for those people. So once you get those things figured out and you start putting out social media posts, paid ads, content, and you start to hit the top of the funnel where everybody's just kind of crowding in, you need to offer enough to get them to warm the relationship enough that they continue down the funnel into the middle. And once they get into the middle and you have them reading your content or clicking on your ads, you want to have 2 goals to get them to become a customer, because basically anybody who becomes a customer, even at a small dollar value, has so much more of a percentage to end up being a customer again on a larger product. And 2, to get their email. So I think the takeaway from this, one takeaway from this major thing, 2 things I would say, is the customer avatar is extremely important and often gets overlooked. And 2, email is the king. And I think once you get a customer's email, again, you can consider them a lead, because now they've gotten to the point where they trust you enough to give you some personal information. Like I said, it works even better if at that middle of the funnel you get them to buy onto something, whether it's something very small taken from one of your larger products that you know you can give out at a low cost to you, anything like that, anything that gets them to buy. So once you have their email and they're already a customer, you move to the bottom of the funnel, and then the bottom of the funnel is where things are going to really take off, and now you have to work to get them into your ideal product.
So in terms of getting that email and essentially creating the ultimate lead magnet, there's a few steadfast rules and standbys that you should follow to make sure that your lead magnet is as effective as possible. One of the things that I always like to do is I like to do content upgrades. So I'll write a blog post and it'll be about, any particular topic. Say we're talking about like the 10 most effective SEO tools that you can use for your website. So I'll write a blog post about that, and then maybe in the middle of the blog post, pop in a call to action where someone has to enter in their email address and subscribe in order to get a PDF document or a checklist or a video that goes into more detail about, the blog post that I was discussing. Your lead magnet can be anything you want. It just has to be high value. It has to be very, very specific. It has to be something that's so good that you'd be able to sell it and charge money for it, but you're giving it away for free. It should be easy to digest and consume. They should be able to just watch that video or download the checklist and implement the action steps right away and get a very specific result. So if we look at the 8-point lead magnet checklist, we've got ultra specific. Focus on one pain point and problem, solve that issue for them. Don't try and promise them the world. Just fix one thing at a time. That's the next point, one big thing. So you don't want the magic pill or the silver bullet, as the document says. Focus on the one quick win, the thing that you can solve for them right away. Give them the immediate gratification. Speak to the known desired results. So, if somebody's on SEO and they're interested in SEO content, I unequivocally know that it's because they're trying to get more traffic to their website. So if I can give them things that help them implement strategies and tips and tricks on their website to get more traffic, that's a known desired end result. It shifts the relationship. So now there's somebody that's come to my website, read a blog post. They've kind of got to know me a little bit through my writing style and through my tone of voice in my article. Now they've got a lead magnet from me. They're on my mailing list. I can continue that conversation with that customer, or that prospect rather, in their inbox. So I can send them emails. They can reply to my emails, ask me questions. I can give them more personal advice and suggestions. That's shifting the relationship. No longer are they a completely cold audience, somebody that doesn't trust me, somebody that doesn't see value in what I do. Now they've received this help from me. They see that I'm a good guy and I've done stuff for them. That relationship is shifted. There's some trust established there. it's the same as a dating analogy, right? You have to gradually build it up step by step. You can't just run out there and ask every person that you meet initially to marry you, because they'll think you're absolutely nuts. And so, yeah, like shifting the relationship, have it have high perceived value, high actual value, make it rapid and easy to consume for them. So those are the ultra 8 steps to make sure your lead magnet absolutely smashes it and starts grabbing you tons of emails and building up that mailing list.
Yeah, we were talking before too. I don't think it's unrealistic to know that you're not necessarily going to hit every single one of these boxes, hit one of these check boxes, every time. But go for the most that you possibly can, and kind of at least have an idea of what it is on here that your lead magnet's hitting. And if it's strong enough in 6 out of the 8, you're doing all right. I gave an example before of you can use this, and Mark said, like in his digital aspect, if you use a lead magnet of hey, here's the top 5 things to do in whatever city, and if you want to know 10 more, just put your email in here and we'll send it right over to you, and that email gets automatically kicked out, and they have that piece of information. But you can use it for physical things as well, like we were talking about a brewery. And if you are use a college town analogy again, and if you're in a college town, you're not a pizza shop, but you're a brewery, and there's 4 or 5 other breweries there. To get people on board, you would just offer something like, hey, a coupon for, free 4-pack of beer. And it's something that they can print out, have in hand, and next time they go to your place, they can come in and grab it. Now, out of all the different breweries that are in their town, you've actually got them in the door to check out your place. Now they've seen maybe you have good live music, maybe they've seen the atmosphere is good, there's a lot of girls there, whatever. So it's, the average guy who has a choice in 5 breweries now has his foot in the door of yours, and is more likely to come back again. And while he's there, you could even try to sell him, something else. But listen, it can work for digital goods, and leads can be obtained through physical things. So brick and mortars can do something as well. So that's it. I mean, that's pretty much the middle of the funnel, top of funnel, middle of the funnel, and customer avatar. That's literally the 3 things it takes to turn a visitor into a lead. Like we said, I think the actual tangible, hey, this is now a lead and not just a random visitor, is that email. So definitely strive for that and make sure everything you put in place is kind of working towards that. A lot of businesses don't put everything into steps like that, and then maybe skip some things and expect results. But or in some don't even make email a priority. Even if you're a brick and mortar store, having a customer's email is paramount. That's a huge thing for a captive audience.
And I think one of the things we can do too is we'll take these documents that we've had here in this slideshow in this presentation, and we can pop these documents right in the group in the files tab there. So if you guys want to go ahead and download the documents and fill them out and use them and apply them to your own business, feel free to do that. And of course, hit us up in the group if you have any questions or concerns and would like to know more about what we've discussed today or any future topics, just let us know and we'll be happy to help you guys out.
Yeah, before we come up with our 3rd video, we'll aim for next week to get the bottom of the funnel video done. In the meantime, definitely put questions, and I'd like to apply different steps and parts of this process to actual businesses. So if you have a business and you're wondering how some of this can relate, or maybe an idea on how you can do part of this for your specific business, by all means, put it down underneath this video on the Facebook post, and we can shoot some ideas out there for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I hope you guys got a lot of value from this video. We had a lot of fun creating it and going through the trials and tribulations of recording one already where the audio didn't work, and then coming back, and hopefully this one works a lot better than the last.
This one was just as good as the first one.
For sure. Yeah, there's no lower quality. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. And as always, any questions or anything, pop them in the group. Take care.
Thanks.